where they put people first, and landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us in this segment is Matt Hart, and Matt is the Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. Good to see you in person once again this month, Matt. How are you, sir?
Grayson, good morning. Great to be with you. Yeah, last month I was at the Illinois Economic Development Association meeting in Peoria, so it's great to be back in person here in the studio to talk about economic development in Christian County, because there's a lot of it going on, some exciting time right now for Christian County.
And while it was unique having you by phone last time, totally understood, but it's always, I think, just a better thing to just have you here in studio, and that goes for most everybody, but so it's good to see you here today. And I'd like to start with what you've got as our start point here as well, that June 20th CCEDC quarterly luncheon that you held with the Illinois Department of Transportation. How'd it go and what that kind of looked like?
It was great. You know, we had a lunch, and this is one of the new things that the Christian County Economic Development Corporation is doing, where we have quarterly meals, either a lunch or a breakfast, where we bring business leaders from the county together and then have some sort of speaker. And so this quarterly luncheon that we held last month included the Illinois Department of Transportation. Interestingly enough, the Illinois Department of Transportation maintains 126 miles of roads in Christian County, and highways are absolutely critical for economic development. A good friend of mine once told me, he said, you know, I've gone all over the state of Illinois, and I've noticed not every town has an airport, not every town has a pipeline, not every town has a railroad, but every town has a road. And so highways are just critically important for economic development. And we've got some great highways here in Christian County. We don't have any interstates, but we certainly got some key highways. One of the key highways, of course, being Route 29 that comes out of the capital city, goes to Taylorville, goes down to Pana. US 51 over in Assumption, a vital pipeline, as well as Route 104, Route 48, carries a lot of freight, a lot of economic development, moves up and down the highways that are maintained by the Illinois Department of Transportation. And manufacturers can't manufacture things, ship things here in Christian County if we don't have a good network of highways to move that product in and out of the county.
Great network of county highways, but I've heard a lot of people say, where's the interstate? Where do I get to that dang interstate? And but it's pretty easy, actually, when you really just go down either, you know, Route 29 or things of that nature. Did you have any discussion about some of the work that they're considering with Route 29? Yeah,
absolutely. And I think especially the folks in Pana will know that stretch of Route 29 in Pana is really needs to be done. And that one is going to be done very soon. And then after they get Pana done, Route 29, they're in Pana on the north side of Pana. Route 29 through Taylorville is on the multi-year program as well. That's going to be done from all the way, basically from the north side of town in front of the high school and all the way through town. And so we're really excited about that. That's a couple of years away, but the Pana repaving for Route 29 should be coming very, very soon. And again, that is, you know, not only it does make for a nicer ride, but that also sends a message that, you know, that our economy is live and well and it's thriving. In 2019, we increased the gas tax, and Illinois has one of the higher gas taxes in the nation, but that money is being invested back into our roads and into our bridges. And we're seeing that now with projects like Route 29 here in Christian County.
And I know some work has already been started with the bridge and things of that nature, but I think, you know, you see it sometimes when you go from state to state. All of a sudden you hit a different state and you go, ooh, this road's a little rocky, a little bumpy, you know, and it's noticeable. That's one of the first things you notice, really, because you're driving into town. And I believe Pana is picking up some 6th Street work as well to really kind of benefit.
Right, absolutely. And that's also why we do meetings like this, is to maintain those relationships with the Illinois Department of Transportation, because the people making the decisions on where are we going to build next, where are we going to repave, where are we going to expand, where are we going to improve, the more relationship we can have with our business leaders in Christian County, with those decision makers, again, that's what drives economic development. And so it's important that we just maintain those levels of communication with our business leaders here in Christian County, with people in Springfield who are making the decisions about our highways.
I wrote down meetings equal maintaining relationships. I like it. I've never thought about it in that regard, but it's a good way to think about it, as you can kind of, this is what we maybe need. How can we maybe help get you to that point? And so anything else, though, Matt, when it comes to that quarterly luncheon, or any plans for those coming up in the future?
Yeah, we've got more quarterly luncheons, as well as our annual meeting, which is coming up in October. We've got one more. We're going to try to squeeze in one more summer meeting in August. We'll get details out about that next month. But again, it's about it's about serving the community. It's about growing jobs. It's about bringing business leaders together in this county, because that's where the real economic development work is done. It's in those relationships with business leaders and governmental leaders getting together, and also, again, providing some education, like bringing in folks like the Illinois Department of Transportation for those meetings.
Good guy to do it with is right in front of me here. Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. Let's talk about some of the developments that have come about, one of which we touched on last month, but this is a big deal. It's E.L. Pruitt moving into that 55,000 square foot facility.
Yeah, this is really exciting, and I hope people have seen this. Certainly, you surely have seen the cleanup work being done on the East Park Street. When I say East Park Street, so just east of the railroad, the Norfolk Southern Railroad, and on the north side of Park Street, there's a new 55,000 square foot facility that E.L. Pruitt, and E.L. Pruitt is a contractor, primarily heating and air conditioning contractor out of Springfield, but they've started a new line of manufacturing pipe. And this isn't just, your average pipe manufacturing. This is very high level, very specific, very accurate pipe fabrication. It's all done with computers, so the computer welding, robots, technology. The equipment that is doing this had to come all the way from Europe, but E.L. Pruitt made a major investment in Taylorville and Christian County when they purchased what used to be the B&R facility here in Taylorville, and when B&R consolidated all their operations down into their campus in Pana, that freed up this 55,000 square foot facility in Taylorville. And E.L. Pruitt now is manufacturing with this state-of-the-art facility. They're manufacturing pipe that is being used all over the U.S., and it's really exciting. We're happy to have them here in Taylorville and Christian County. There's more jobs that are going to be here in Taylorville and Christian County, and they've actually got room to expand. And some of the product lines that they're in look like they're going to be able to expand. So that's a new business that we have here in Christian County, and we're E.L. Pruitt is a great partner. Again, they're based in Springfield, but this is their new manufacturing facility right here in Taylorville.
Probably nice for them too to not be too far down Route 29 and be able to have it here, just a little separate from what they're doing. But the space that's offered here is a big deal, and not only that, how long or how little it really sat to me is a big deal. A lot of times you see a building of that size sit for some time waiting on somebody to come in. That wasn't the case in this situation.
You're exactly right, Grayson, and that is the name of the game in 2025. It's having available buildings. 85% of the time when a developer is looking to expand their business or build their business or grow their business, 85% of the time they need an existing building. And we actually asked E.L. Pruitt when they selected this, we said, what was it that drew you here? And they said it was the building. They needed that building. They didn't have time to build a new building. They don't have time to wait for their to be operational. They need to be operational now. And when you buy an existing building, when you have existing facilities available, that's what attracts employers. And that's why we've got a new employer here in Christian County.
That's a big deal. And another big deal is Sloan Implement. I know they've kind of shut down operations for the time being, and it's about a 2-week period, I think it was. But now we're moving, and we're doing so in a big time way. That's over in Edinburgh, and I'll let you take the floor from here. But what's going on with Sloan Implement?
So again, everybody's been watching the construction of this new 50,000 square foot facility that Sloan Implement has been building in Edinburgh, just south of Edinburgh on Route 29. Again, this is a place where there's 12,000 vehicles a day going by. It's if you're coming into the county from the north, it's one of the first things that you're going to see, this brand new Sloan Implement facility where they're consolidating the Taylorville operation with some of their other former operations that used to be north of here. And really excited. It's going to be opening up on July 14th.
So a lot of consolidation, though, like B&R Marine kind of bringing it all into one space. And for you, with the TIF district or with the BDD and things of that nature, you mentioned, okay, 85% of them are looking for those existing buildings or warehouses or things of that nature. How many of them are looking, though, for some of those other things that are offered by the CCEDC and the city itself?
Yeah, and this was Sloan Implement was constructed before we had the enterprise zone in Edinburgh, but we've now taken the enterprise zone to Edinburgh, and Sloan was able to utilize the enterprise zone at least for the finishing out of that facility. It's one thing we wish we could have done it sooner, but better late than never. But what that has done is that it spurred other development in Edinburgh, because when we expanded the enterprise zone in Edinburgh, that freed up another business expansion there in Midwest Meter. And a lot of folks have seen, obviously, Sloan implement, and you've seen on the construction there. But if you look just to the west, you'll see a new set of construction vehicles over there. That's for Midwest Meter. That's their 10,000 square foot facility that's going up, and again, made possible with the enterprise zone that CCEDC has worked so hard to expand throughout the county.
And as a simpleton as myself, when I see work being done like that, that to me is just the clear indicator things are happening, things are moving, things are working.
Yeah.
And seeing such big facilities come into play, I think that's a really big deal. And Midwest Meter tacking on right next door to Sloan Implement, that's 60,000 square feet of business
that we didn't have a year ago.
Right.
And this is again growing our economy in Christian County. It's growing our availability. And when Sloan, moves to Edinburgh, that creates new opportunities with their facility in Taylorville. And so, anytime, especially in today's environment, when you can get people who are willing to invest and grow their business and build more square footage, that's what brings jobs. That's what grows our economy in Christian County.
Goes back to quality of life, which I learned from Matt is a very important piece to all of this. And let's come back around with Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation, in just one moment, and talk more about what the CCEDC has going on and with the city of Taylorville and their purchase now of the commercial and industrial park as well. We'll see how much we can get to. We're going to try and get to all of it. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM. Your information station, WTIM.
We're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station. It's brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us in this segment is Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. We talked a little bit about massive changes coming to the Christian County area, and that might be E.L. Pruitt in a 55,000 square foot facility, Sloan Implement in their new 50,000 square foot facility, and also Midwest Meter right next door to Sloan Implement. A lot of this is going to be not a hot button issue, a topic that comes up more so now that the city has purchased the commercial and industrial park. And we've talked about this before, but you've said this is a good thing for the city. And I'd like to know, now that that purchase has happened, what's this transition going to kind of look like?
Yeah, so this is really exciting. It's really good for Taylorville and really good for Christian County. With the industrial park was developed by a non-for-profit group called the Taylorville Development Association, and they're a great group that has been around for decades. They used to be focused out by the airport and saw the need for growing Taylorville and growing the opportunity to grow more businesses, particularly along Route 29 on the north side of Taylorville. So they worked very hard to get a federal grant with the help of then Congressman Rodney Davis for this new 46-acre commercial and industrial park on the north side of Taylorville. It's zoned both commercial and industrial. It's 46 acres. There's 17 lots there. It's shovel ready as a shovel ready gets. The utilities are in, the sidewalks are in, the streets are in. You're on Route 29, which has 12,000 vehicles a day, and the Taylorville Development Association wasn't in as good a position to market this as someone like in 2025. A lot of cities are in this space now, and a lot of developers, when they come to us, their first question is, well, does the city own it? Am I talking to the city? Who owns it? And so this actually gives us a new tool in economic development, because many times those developers are wanting to deal with one entity, like the city of Taylorville, versus dealing with multiple entities of multiple landowners or other people involved. So this actually streamlines the process. And in the process, the city of Taylorville got a really good deal on this 46-acre commercial industrial park, and we've already reached out to at least everyone in my back pocket that has shown interest in that industrial park. We're circling back with all of those folks, letting them know that now the city of Taylorville owns this. The city of Taylorville is in a great position to bring in new business, and again, it's all about jobs. It's all about creating new jobs, but those businesses have to have a building, they have to have a lot, they have to have a place to do those jobs. We have it on the north side of Taylorville, and this is going to be great for future industrial development and commercial development in Christian County.
By the sounds of it, a lot, 46 acres, 17 lots. There's plenty to work with there, and if it's shovel ready, it's shovel ready. Yeah. When it comes to the TDA, I think some people have been confused. What was the TDA? I mean, I had never previously heard about it until that purchase became official. Yeah, the
roots of the Taylorville Development Association actually go back, I believe, to the 1960s. It was a group of business leaders that got together and were helping spur economic development, predominantly, again, out by the airport and the industrial areas out there. They owned some tracts of land out there for development, and then ran into some mine subsidence issues. And, you can't put up a factory on land that's going to have mine subsidence. And so they pivoted about 10 years ago and started looking for a new place, again, for the future of Taylorville and the future of Christian County. And those business leaders helped with the development of this. They helped to get a federal grant to fund this. And again, it was all about the future of Taylorville and the future of Christian County, all set in motion by business leaders who were thinking about the future.
And thank you for explaining that to me. They just kind of popped out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, TDA. I'd never heard of the TDA. So I appreciate that. And with just about a minute to go here, I want to make sure we have time to talk about this. The CCEDC and the Taylorville Chamber coming together for a training opportunity.
Yeah, so TIF, Enterprise Zone Business Development District, those are things that people hear about, maybe don't really know what those mean, but we're going to have a webinar on that. And if you want to attend the webinar, it's July the 29th at 11 a.m. All you have to do is reach out to us at the CCEDC or reach out to the Taylorville Chamber of Commerce, and we'll get you signed up for that web training. We're going to explain what a TIF district is, what the Enterprise Zone is, what the Business Development District is, not only in Taylorville, but we've got the Enterprise Zone throughout the county. There's multiple TIFs throughout the county. There's multiple business districts throughout the county. But if you're thinking about it all, about growing your business or building a business and want to know more, just reach out to us and we'll get you signed up for that webinar. And again, it's free. It's July 29th at 11 a.m.
I know I personally would hate to see people leave money on the table, so I know you probably despise it. And so especially when I've learned through you what the TIF zone is, or a district is, or what the BDD districts are, things of that nature. But I still cloudy and have some questions about it, so I can totally understand why on July 29th at 11 a.m. you might want to dig into that. You're listening to WTIM, our information station, or your information station, that is. And we are joined by Matt Hart, Executive Director of the CCEDC. Matt, good to see you here today.
Thanks, Grayson.
Again, Matt Hart, CCEDC Executive Director on the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station.